Janie, there seems to be a lot of interest and I'm going to say preoccupation with narcissism. So women being with a narcissist. Do you talk about that or address that with the women that you see?
Yes. So a lot of the women do find themselves in narcissistic abusive relationships. And I think the most difficult part for a lot of the women is when I know there's different levels and we don't necessarily have to get all into that, but the covert narcissist is the one that usually holds the woman's attention for the longest period of time because they're just so stealth about themselves. And that's what creates this dynamic for a lot of the women that we work with is because they're like, I just didn't see this coming. I thought a narcissist was going to be grandiose. I thought a narcissist was going to come through the door and everyone was going to be this charming. When I hear narcissism, I had a picture in my mind, but I didn't realize that there's different types of narcissists. And then I start figuring out. And then most of the time, I think it's important, especially as professionals in our due diligence, is we don't diagnose people that are not in the room. But however, if they're coming in with certain types of experiences that they had, we can say, it sounds like, what we know of these things, or read this and see this, right? And then they kind of come and put that picture together. Because I do think it's important that in our responsibility that we don't tell them who their partner is, especially if they're not in the room, but we do give them resources. And one of the resources is about narcissist or narcissism and the different types of um, categories, we should say, and then also explain to them there is a difference because I think from a society standpoint, we use this word so readily available now and there's not necessarily education around there's a difference between narcissistic personality disorder versus someone that has high narcissistic traits, and you may be experiencing some of that because it's important for them, especially in our program. We believe it's important for them to understand that because the one thing that keeps them in these relationships outside of some of the stuff that's underlining is hope. Is that taking these they'll hear normal things, and especially whether it's psychology or self help, take these normal ways of relating to people and try to put it on their abnormal relationship. And then they have so much hope that this relationship is going to change. But if they're with someone that has high narcissistic traits, that hope is what keeps them stuck. And it's important that we help them at some point understand that so that their hope can be placed on them and not on the other person changing. Because with someone that has those narcissistic traits, it keeps them in the relationship a lot longer, 20, 30 years. It doesn't necessarily mean it's short-term relationships. Sometimes these are people that are married, that are in these love addicted, toxic dynamics throughout their entire relationship, where their spouse could be love bombing them, devaluing them, discarding them, and it happens all in relationships. And I think it's important to say that, in the sense that because some people hear that, they think it's like dating relationships. No, this happens to people in long-term relationships. It's not short-term relationships. It's not dating relationships. It's just the fact that, and I'm using she because that's primarily who we work with, that she thinks she's crazy. She thinks there's something wrong with her. So she tries to cook more, sex more, perform, right? It's that performance where she tries to be the best wife or the best girlfriend because maybe if I just do these things, he's going to come back around and he will see my value and my worth. And ultimately, long term, that's her understanding that that's what she brought to the table. She didn't have that filled.